What's the sweetest petty revenge you've ever gotten? My apartment building had assigned parking spots. Mine was clearly marked, right between two others. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. For 3 weeks straight, I woke up every morning to find this beat-up white Buick parked in my spot. No note, no explanation, just sitting there like it belonged. I started knocking on doors to figure out who owned it. Finally tracked it down to Mrs. Lyle in 2C, this bitter old lady who'd been living there since the 70s. When I politely asked her to stop parking there, she literally slammed the door in my face. Through the door, she yelled that she'd lived there since 1973, and that spot used to be hers before they changed the numbering system. I went to the landlord hoping he'd help. Nope. He just shrugged and said dealing with Mrs. Lyle wasn't worth the drama. Apparently she'd been a problem tenant for years but never broke any major rules. I tried everything. Left polite notes on her windshield, called parking enforcement to ticket her, even had my car towed once by mistake because the tow truck driver got confused about which car didn't belong. Meanwhile, I had to park 3 blocks away on the street and drag my groceries through rain and snow while her car sat cozy in my rightful spot. She was winning and she knew it. Then one day, I saw this teenage kid walking out of her apartment carrying a PS5. I struck up a casual conversation and found out it was Mrs. Lyle's grandson Kevin. He visited every weekend to hang out and play games. That's when I got an idea. I offered Kevin $40 if he'd help me get back at his grandma a little. Nothing mean, just a harmless prank. His eyes lit up when I explained the plan. The next weekend, while Mrs. Lyle was at her weekly bingo game, Kevin and I put our plan into action. I'd made a fake parking violation notice that looked completely official. It claimed her car had been towed and impounded for repeatedly parking in a reserved tenant spot. The notice had a realistic logo and everything, plus a phone number to call about getting the car back. I'd bought a cheap burner phone just for this. Mrs. Lyle came home from bingo, saw the notice on her windshield, and completely panicked. Kevin played his part perfectly, telling her he thought he'd seen a tow truck earlier but wasn't sure. She called the number in a total frenzy. I answered in my most professional voice, pretending to be the impound lot. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we had no choice. This was the 3rd violation for illegal parking in a marked tenant space. You'll need to bring your driver's license, registration, and a $325 fine to retrieve your vehicle." I gave her directions to a fake impound lot clear across town, claiming it was a new satellite location they'd just opened. For the next 3 hours, Kevin texted me updates as his grandma drove around in his mom's car, getting more and more frustrated trying to find this non-existent impound lot. She called the fake number 5 more times, each time getting more angry. I kept giving her different addresses, claiming she must have missed the turn or gone to the wrong entrance. Finally, after she'd driven to 3 different locations, I texted Kevin that the operation was complete. He told his grandma to wait, then pretended to get a call from his friend saying he'd just seen her Buick still parked at the apartment. They rushed back home. There was her car, exactly where she'd left it, completely untouched. The fake notice had blown off in the wind. Mrs. Lyle was so shaken by the whole experience that she never parked in my spot again. She was probably terrified it would actually get towed for real. Kevin used his $40 to buy new headphones for his PS5.